guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and today we're gonna ferment salsa. Yes, so I've already got a jar that I have fermented for 4 days on the counter, and so I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. I'm going to give you a taste test and try to explain the flavors and all the stuff that goes into this. But I'm super excited because the fermented tomatoes, unbelievable. And you can use them in pasta. You don't have to cook them. And so it retains that probiotic goodness. And that's what we're going to get from this salsa as well. So I don't go through a ton of salsa in a year. So I'm trying to come up with ways where I have it available for recipes or tacos or eggs or whatever. But I'm not having to can tons of it out of the garden, and I'm getting good probiotic gut bacteria. So I think this is a good option for us. So I've got fresh tomatoes from the garden, beautiful poblano peppers, have a little bit of heat, but not too much. I used my jalapenos in this one. I don't have any more jalapeno at this point in time, and you can raise or lower the heat level any way you want. I've got little cherry tomatoes, a couple Romas. I've got a beautiful brandy wine. All of it's going in. So we're going to make salsa. I've got garlic, a shallot, lime, and parsley. So parsley because not everybody is okay with cilantro, and I'm okay with either one, but I really like the earthiness that the parsley brings to the whole thing. The only thing I'm missing, I've got salt and pepper here, but you definitely need salt to ferment. And then I'm going to add cumin. So I'm going to get my ground cumin. Let's bring it in close and let's do this. So literally we're going to be just chopping and dropping. I do like the garlic chopped up pretty fine, only because, you're eating it on a chip or on eggs or tacos or whatever it is, and you definitely want that fine. You don't want to come across a big old hunk of garlic, I don't think. And you could use a food processor if you want. I'm gonna hand chop everything, and I had roughly 4 cloves of garlic there. I'm shooting for a quart of this salsa, and if it goes as fast as the fermented tomatoes, I'm going to need a half-gallon jar at some point. But I did you guys watched the video on the fermented tomatoes, and I did a big half-gallon jar right after that, using some of that already good, the inoculated bacteria brine to help inoculate the next batch is absolutely wonderful. It speeds up the process pretty fast. Same thing with this shallot. I just want to chop it up really fine. And shallots, you could use an onion if you want. This salsa can be, it's up to you how you decide you want to make it. This doesn't have to be quite as finely chopped, but I like it pretty fine. So there's that. And then, of course, tomatoes and the parsley. And I'm going to get some of this off my board into the bowl. So, and I try to pick a bowl that I think is going to house a quart of salsa. And then, see, that was a little big. And I had a piece of the skin on it, which I don't want. Let me rinse my hands. Sticky garlic, which is good. So, let's get this parsley all chopped up. And this is just fresh parsley. Cilantro, if you're not a fan, this is a great alternative. I feel like you need one or the other in this for sure. But you don't have to, if you're not a cilantro fan, then leave it out and do the parsley. I like the grassiness of the parsley, but I also, sometimes I'll add fresh cilantro to mine when I use it. If it's, if that's what I'm in the mood for. So really fine chop on that. And we'll get that in. Doop. And that's good. I'm going to get my tomato knife out here in a minute because that's going to come in really handy. Okay, another rinse of the hands. Get a paper towel. And so I've already washed these tomatoes. I have a bowl here for the tops, I guess you'd say. Oh, maybe. There's my tomato knife. And these are really wonderful sun gold tomatoes. Mm-hmm. So nice. They're delicious. They're sweet, so they're going to bring some sweet to this. And the sweet and the salty and the savory. Oh, you can't beat this. So you can taste this. This is the fun thing about salsa. You can taste it right now and then taste it after it's been fermented. So I'm going to give you a taste test of both because I taste as I go to make sure I've got the right heat, acidity, all that. I'm going to make sure I take a taste of both, or of it fresh. Okay, we'll get these cut up. These are probably more tedious than although heirloom tomatoes, have their own challenges. These are pretty good, but you can see. And then poblano peppers, so they're not super hot. Yeah, yum. Okay, let me get these all cut up, and I hear my washer doing something. So I'm going to go check on that, and we'll get these tomatoes put right in to the bowl. Let me bring you back after I get all these tomatoes cut up, and we'll get moving on this story. Here we go. And it's going to start making its own liquid almost immediately. The tomato juices, you want all the seeds, all the juice, everything. And I'll be right back. So I thought I'd bring you back. So these cherry tomatoes, I've got these all chopped up. If you get one of these scoopers, you can kind of scoop up the juice at the same time. And I feel like that's really important to get that off your board. And so now we can move on to bigger tomatoes and peppers and feel good about our game. And yes, more paper towel. I am super excited about this. Let me just tell you, the fermented tomatoes have sold me on how I'm going to do things for a while. We're going to have as much as we can have. And I actually, in the second batch, the big half-gallon jar that I did, I put green Romas in there deliberately and green cherry tomatoes deliberately to see what the flavor was like. And let me just tell you, it's divine. It's so good. So this is a beautiful tomato. It's got that green shoulder to it, but the darker shoulder, but it's gorgeous. These tomatoes are delicious. So I'm dicing them up and they're going in as well. And then, so any tomato will do for this. If you want to do Romas, that's fine. But I'm kind of the opinion the more tomato flavor you have, the better off you are. And the difference, some are sweeter, some are more savory, and yeah. So I think that's why they call it salsa, because it's a little bit of everything. But get this all scooped up, juice and all. Go ahead. Oh, and I'm making a mess. Here we go. It's all right. The counters are clean. So I do have my cumin out, and because these poblanos are not very hot, I'm using a Southwest Chipotle seasoning with no salt. We will have the salt measured off from, just so we know exactly what we've got going on. So I don't think I need my tomato knife on these. Maybe for a little bit of it, but maybe. All right. Let me know in the comments if you've made fermented salsa, fermented tomatoes. I know there was a lot of very positive comments on doing this, the tomatoes, and so the salsa was the next thing on my list. I just am super excited about having something that I can just grab out of the fridge. And these will, once you've got them to the taste you want, the fermentation that you want, just like sauerkraut, you start refrigerating it at the taste and flavor you want, or can it, whatever you want to do. But I'm not going to can this, so I'm going to use this fresh in recipes to keep the probiotics. And now this is a little patio tomato, so that gives another depth of flavor because it doesn't have the same flavor as the brandywine or the cherry tomatoes. Take that core out and we'll slice this baby open. And have you guys had BLTs yet this summer? Oh my gosh. Oh, so wonderful. In fact, I'm hoping that we get enough summer weather left that I can sun dry tomatoes. If I have to, I'll dry them in the oven. But if I can do sun dried tomatoes, I'll be such a happy camper. So this kind of has a little bit of a, like core in it. I'm taking that out. I don't want that in my salsa. It's up to you what you leave in and what you take out, obviously. But this is a little bit juicier tomato. All delicious. Okay. Again, scoop that right on up. And then I'm going to start stirring it around. I don't want to use that. That's my tasting spoon. I'm going to start stirring this around. Let these kind of start macerating for sure. And for a quart jar, a tablespoon of salt, and I'm using kosher salt this time, is really, really good. Now I need my big knife back, and we're going to get this poblano pepper going. There's just a little seed pocket in there, so I can get that out of there. And the walls are pretty thin. Any homegrown pepper that you grow outside, they take a little while, and they're just, the smell is so wonderful, though. And again, you could do this in the food processor, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do it all by hand. And we're having egg bites this week with sous vide egg bites with the poblanos. So I'm super excited about that because who doesn't love a nice poblano pepper? And peppers do way better in a hot house or greenhouse, situation. I think you get them faster, you get more of them. I want this pretty finely diced. So good. And there you go. That's what we're doing. I'm going to cut up some more tomatoes. I don't think I'm going to need both poblanos for this, but we'll see. I kind of do salsa by color. Do you guys do that? Where you judge it by the color and then taste? Oh yeah, it's got the right color. I think that's good. Color combo. Okay. I think that's good. We'll set that right there. Wash my hands. Then on to the next step. So, or rinse my hands, I should say. Okay. I do want some black pepper in here. I do like black pepper in my salsa. And we're going to add some of this chipotle. this is really good. And it doesn't, I don't need a lot of it in there, but I do need some cumin. So before I get in the salt, I'm going to do about a half a tablespoon of cumin, ground cumin. And then we'll move to more tomatoes. We need some more tomatoes. Oh. Looks good already. The cumin kind of makes it a little bit cloudy, I think, looking, but you guys want to know how this tastes. So good. All right. Let me get the rest of these tomatoes that I need cut up. We're almost at a quart, but it really does slump down. And even over the next couple of days, this will continue to shrink down in the jar. And all I did with this one was, along the way, I added some more cherry tomatoes. And that way it kept adding to the mix. Plus it was a little bit spicy. The jalapenos I used were small out of my garden, and I only used 1/2 of one with the seeds in it, but it had a kick to it. They had a kick to it. So I was trying to tone it down. So we agreed that it was like a medium salsa and totally palatable for chips, for eggs, for yummy. Anyway, here we go. Okay. Let's do that. That brandy wine can go in there. And that the color of the tomatoes is also going to kind of dictate what's going on. So this is a beautiful aroma that came off the plants out there. Look at that. All the way through. Beautiful. The ones you get in the store are all white in the inside. You got to cut all that out, and it doesn't have any flavor. So I don't pull my tomatoes off the plants until they're blushing, so I know, and I never refrigerate them. I never refrigerate a tomato. So let me know if you refrigerate tomatoes or not. I know there's some people think you have to or you're supposed to. And unfortunately, when we get them at the store, they've been in refrigeration. Don't get me started. And they're one variety. You're not getting the best flavor profile. You're getting the best shipment tomato and shelf stable that will hold on the shelf and look good for people to buy. That's what you're getting. You're not getting the best flavor, the best variety. So grow your own. Okay. I'm excited for the little tomatoes that I have out there that I planted from seed, the Geranium Kiss. I planted them late, but they're all flowering. I think we're going to have enough time. I've got tomatoes on a few of them. I've got enough time to get to taste that variety, and I'm going to save some seeds if we like them. So, because they're really hard to come by. I don't think they have a lot of seed in them, and that's why when you buy a package, you typically get 10 seeds. That's it. 10. That's it. I know this looks like it's probably a quart of stuff right now, but it's going to slump down once we get it in the jar. So another aroma. Beautiful. Okay. Let me bring you back when I'm ready to salt this mixture. Okay, so I have all the tomatoes that I have ripe in the bowl. And now I'm judging whether I need more. I think I need another pepper. But we're going to give it a taste test before we put it in the jar. And then we'll see what we have. If so, I've got another pepper. That goes beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And they will turn red if you leave them. So I want to put lime juice in there. I don't know how you eat salsa without lime juice. So we're going to do a whole lime. These are really juicy. I buy a smooth skin, as smooth as I can get. And then I pop it in the microwave. Look at that. Oh, that's so nice. I think on that salsa right there, and I washed this. That salsa, it was bottled lime juice. I did not have fresh. So this one will have a little bit different spin to it, which I'm really okay with. I love it. Get all that. And you could zest your lime as well. I just chose not to. So we'll put that in the sink and that in the garbage. I don't compost citrus. So if you do, you do you. Okay. I know some people compost everything. Okay, so it's already creating with the lime juice. We haven't got it salted yet, but let's do some salt. So for a quart, I really want, and I'm okay with it, a fair amount of salt. Even in my salsa, I do a fair amount. So a tablespoon of kosher salt. If I was using fine salt, I don't know that I would use that much. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some brine out of my already fermented tomatoes. I'm going to grab a tablespoon or two and get this inoculated with some good fermented bacteria. So at this point, like I said, I'm not sure if I want more peppers, but let's give it I have my handy dandy tasting spoon. Let's give it a taste. And we'll get a little bit of everything, a little bit of the juice. See if we got everything right. Got peppers? Nope, I need peppers. Okay. A little bite, right? Wow. I love cilantro, but I really do love the grassiness, and that comes through of the parsley. I don't have any heat factor, to be really honest. Maybe I'll pick up a jalapeno and pop that in there, or a serrano would be really good. I thought I planted serranos, but I don't know where they are. They're hidden, apparently. Do we need more heat? I think this will be, it's delicious. I think it'll be a mild salsa, to be really honest. I'm going to go ahead with another half a tablespoon of salt. The salt is actually what's going to get your ferment going. That and what I've got coming up next. Okay, so this is what we've got. Look at these. Well, I'm already, almost halfway done. These are the fermented tomatoes that I did. And it's got garlic. I pulled the rosemary and the thyme out because they've already done their job. And the basil, there's still pieces of that floating around. But any of the thyme and rosemary that was sticking up into the air space of the jar, I didn't want that because that can mold on you. Let's get a tablespoon. Oh, good. And this jar at 4 days was bubbling over out of the pickle pipe. It was bulged up, and when I opened the jar, it was like overflowing. It was so fizzy, and these tomatoes, when you bite into them, are fizzy in the center. They're wonderful. So hopefully you watched the video on how I did this. If not, I think it's the last one I just did. So we'll get this stirred up, and then we're gonna put it in the jar. It's already creating its own juice. Now you don't have to add any liquid to this. Like, these had a salt brine, but this is creating its own brine. So I'm going to grab a nice spoon, and you want everything really clean when you do this sort of stuff. And we'll fill the jar. There we go. Yum. It's going to be a really nice salsa. So like I said, I may be adding to this because I don't even know if I've got enough to fill this jar. It felt like it was going to be enough to make that much. I don't know. We'll see. This is my quart jar bowl, so I know that I'm making enough. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Oh, I'm super excited about that. Okay. And this is my 4 jars. Oh, yeah. Look at this beautiful canning funnel. This is my 4 jars funnel, and it's got measurements on the side, everything. So this can go in the sink. This is going to be our next fermented salsa coming up, and you can put a weight on it. I have the glass weights that I'm going to keep that under. If there's too much liquid, then it doesn't really work out well. And then I want to put a pickle pipe on it with a canning ring, which all of this has been really cleaned well. And that's how easy this is. This will sit, and I'll put it on a little plate. So if it overflows for any reason, this pickle pipe has a little hole in it, so when it gets too much gas going on in there, it'll release the air. But this will sit on the counter for about 4 days. I'll come in here at 2 days and kind of stir it up and taste it. Once I get the taste I want, it goes in the fridge. And then you got it there whenever you need it. Okay, so let's give you a taste test of this stuff, since this is done and it's beautiful. Look how gorgeous that is. Okay. Yum. Okay, guys, so we are ready for our taste test. And all I have is Fritos. Sorry. But this is the ferment. This has been going 4 days. And we tasted it this morning and said, oh my gosh, this smells and tastes delicious. Like I said, I added some tomatoes about day 2 to it because it had slumped down enough. So I've got a really nice clean spoon, and I'm going to get in here, and these veggies break down a little bit, and I'm going to put it in my bowl. My little ramekin for a nice little bowl of salsa. And I would actually like a little more parsley in here, so I might add some. It doesn't need to ferment necessarily, but I like the looks of how pretty and green, not to mention from the parsley, but also from the poblanos. So you can always add to your fermented stuff. And now we'll give you a taste test and see if it's time to put it in the fridge and let it just sit and be delicious. Okay. Fritos are not the optimal chip, but maybe they are. Look at that. Wow, I really like it. It's got some heat to it, but not over the top. It's got that fizzy feel, like it's zippy, like fermented stuff. Has a little zip to it. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's sauerkraut, so good. And I believe on this one I used, I want to say I used Himalayan pink salt. Really doesn't matter as long as it doesn't have any anti-caking agents or iodine in it. You're good, but it might make the mixture a little more muted because of the minerals that are in there. Where this one has the we'll see. If you want me to bring you back for a taste test on this one, let me know. And I will be, as those vegetables slump down, I'll grab a jalapeno pepper at the store or Serrano. Yum. And then these, any bets on how long that'll last? Look at, it's got all those little green tomatoes down there. Very savory. Fresh basil from the garden. So good. In fact, I want to throw in, I can't wait for just fermented green tomatoes because we're going to have a lot of green Romas, I'm sure. We've got another month or so of, about a month and a half of weather, but it's going to start cooling down. So things will start changing. And invariably, we have tomatoes that we're going to have to bring in that are green. That's a thumbs up for me. It's not too hot at all. So this one, I'm definitely going to add some heat to it though, because I think it needs it. All right. I can't wait to see you next time with the delicious recipe using some of this salsa. If you'd like to see that, leave me a comment down in the comment section. If you've ever fermented, I want to hear about it. What'd you do? Did you do anything different? What'd you add? Did you add something different that I didn't? Maybe that'll inspire me to make your salsa. Give us a recipe down below. All right. Bye. Guys, I hope you try this. It is so delicious, and right alongside those fermented tomatoes, there's nothing better.